Hi everyone. I'm really pleased today to have a couple of women with me from Napier in New Zealand. And for those who don't know where Napier is, it's on the east coast of the North Island. Population 67,500. Close by is Hastings, which is a population a bit over 50,000. So in general, we look at a combined population of maybe 117,000. And I beg your pardon, Ali and Carmel have started a women's only swim session in Napier, and it really is women only. It's not one of these women only and men who identify as women. So I'm really keen to speak to them about this, but first I'll just do a little bit of an intro and then they can sort of speak for themselves for the most part after that. So bear with me while I read out what I've got here. Okay, Ali, who is on the left in the striped top. Two adult kids, ex-Royal Navy. That's right, that's what RN stands for, isn't it? Royal Navy. And been a swim instructor, coach, slash coach for 20 plus years, both here and in the UK, teaching from 3 months upwards. Now, I'm taking that you're talking about 3 months old?
That's correct. Yeah. The
Wow.
parent and
Wow.
baby old. Yeah. Last.
Um, She's been a competitive swimmer representing the Royal Navy, the UK, and New Zealand at the World Masters. Post spinal surgery last year, she now teaches part time at a private swim school and is a founding member of the Wahine Water Warriors. And Carmel was a competitive swimmer representing New Zealand at the 1984 Olympics and 1986 Commonwealth Games, making finals in 100 and 200 metres backstroke. Ex-New Zealand Police, 12 years. 8 years in the fashion industry, trained teacher in technology, currently working at Napier Intermediate School, founding member of the Wahine Water Warriors. So, gosh, you two have got some background between you. So I'm really interested. I mean, as people know who've read my blog, who've listened to me on this channel, I've had some engagement with the Christchurch City Council about what the women's only session, what they call the women's only session here, swim session, which in actual fact is includes men who say they're women. And they won't budge on that. That's their stance and they stick to it. But they said that the only way we could have anything, a woman only session, was to run it ourselves. And I believe that that's actually what you two have started doing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So years ago now, we sort of came up with the idea that sort of wanted to do. And it took a long time to find the right venue, somewhere that could be sort of quite separated, where we could have an only female lifeguard just for an hour a week. And it took a while to get that because understandably a lot of facilities are very open and you can't provide that. But year and a half ago now, Napier City Council at the Onikora Napier Aquatic Centre, basically agreed that we could use a pool because it's a little bit off from the other part of the centre, and it's perfect for us because you go down a corridor, it's sort of basically cordoned off, and we've got our own changing rooms as well there, and they provide a female lifeguard for our hour and a half a week. So we've managed to
So if anyone's in the Napier or Hastings district, that's where you go to. Did you say the Onikawa Aquatic Centre? And what days are you on? Is it?
It's just on a Wednesday during the term, and it's 7 till 8 currently PM.
Right. Okay. And what's the attendance like?
It's growing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, quite quiet. We didn't do a lot of advertising, but this year the council have come on board and they've helped with advertising as well. We've had interviews on local radio stations, so it's starting. I mean, last week was our biggest, and we had 31 last week, and that's a lot in a 25-meter pool, 5-lane pool over 60 minutes.
Yeah. So was it very hard to get the council to come on board with it?
Um, it took a while, didn't it? I suppose it's the logistics, just to, to have, because they have swim school and everything else. There's all other groups that come in and use the facility. So it was just to nail down a time, a reasonable time that we could, obviously that we could make, but also that, they could provide a female only lifeguard, because obviously, that's another one of the criteria that we
Yeah.
needed. So it was just lining up all the ducks really.
Mm.
But they have a guy there in it was a new role, and his role was to try and get community groups in and provide various different activities for them. So he came on board with us, and so far we've not had a male lifeguard, have we? No, we've been quite lucky, I think. But they do warn us, don't they, as well? I mean, they do. If a sickness or staff shortage and they cannot provide a female lifeguard, they will let us know in advance, and that gives us the opportunity to tell our members that unfortunately, there will not be a female lifeguard, and
Right.
so that opportunity to come or not. So, but I think that's happened once only. So
once. Yeah. How long have you been going now? Sorry, did you tell me? I can't remember.
20 months now, isn't it? 20 months.
20 months. Okay. So a little bit under 2 years, and only once in that time they couldn't provide the female lifeguard. So the council actually provide you don't have to provide the female lifeguard yourself. The council provides it because it's their facility. Is that how it works?
Well, I'm a trained lifeguard myself, and I was not allowed to be the lifeguard there because I'm not employed by the council, and they didn't want to employ me just for that 1 hour. So that was the only restriction.
Right. But otherwise, and what about first aid? And that all provided by the council if it's necessary, or right? Okay. All right. And are there any did you sort of look around at other facilities, or just go straight to the council? And
so I went round to all the pools in the local area. Yeah, yes, but again, because they're all sort of open, and they couldn't provide that secluded sort of environment that we were after. And previously, the Ali and Carmel pool is perfect because it's got two pools. So when you go through, if you look left, it's got sort of a baby, area. There's a slide for the children. There's hot tubs, and there's a 25-meter pool. And then you go down a little corridor onto your right, and then there's doors. And then when you go through, there's another 25-meter pool, which is perfect. I mean, I always sort of had my eye on that pool anyway, because it's got its own changing rooms, and it's just it's looking either. So it was just ideal, really. So that's what we hung out for, and we got it in the end,
because we were first turned down by a previous employee by the council.
Originally, they said
we were turned down when we first applied there.
Did they say why?
They just said, I think it's just logistics, getting like I said, the female lifeguard and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, to their credit, they've made it work for us now.
Yeah, but that's because you got involved with a different employee at the council. It was he, she. Were they sort of a bit more committed than the other one? Did you feel like the other one maybe just sort of fobbed you off because it was too hard and didn't really make perhaps much effort to make it work for you?
Sure, it's hard to know really what's behind it. I mean, the guy Aidan, I mean, it is a new role, I believe. So he's more invested in providing sessions for different groups of the parts of the community. So to be honest, I couldn't really what the reasons were. We were just told initially that it was just logistics of getting a female,
right,
guaranteeing that.
Okay.
It's worked out,
Yeah.
That it has. And I think now with the numbers, I think over the time that we've been going, we've had over 180 different women come through our door. So obviously, fortunately, not all at once. But they can see that it is a service that's needed, I think.
Yeah, and it's free for the attendees?
No, they pay entry fee. So it's I think it's $, or if you've got a gold card or community services card, it's at a reduced.
Right. Okay. So so I'm really interested in hearing some of the like, for example, with the background that you two have, you obviously saw that there was a need for women only, and that there would, and I mean, I'm talking about like the benefit of actually woman only, what the women get out of that. I mean, what kind of backgrounds did you have that sort of led you to doing this?
Well, for me, I teach, and I was also teaching down at Ocean Spa, which is a pool down the road here, an open air pool, during the summer. And I used to, it's just one-on-ones, and I get a lot of females, swim there with me, and they always lovely, to carry this on through the winter and be in a group. So it was just feedback that I was getting. And also I was a member of the Tri Club, and the Tri Club with Tremaines here, they run a women's only triathlon every year. And, leading up to that, you get a lot of women looking for places where they can swim and train. And
Right.
there isn't together, and there isn't really anywhere. So just for me, that was my, incentive really.
Yeah, same sort of thing. Just hearing from the community, people wanted to have a women's only swim space.
Yeah, and with your backgrounds, like you in the Royal Navy, Ali, and you in the police, Carmel. I mean, did that sort of also add to what you knew, that how women would sort of, what it would do for women to have their own space? I mean, obviously you would have seen and experienced some things that perhaps the average person hasn't.
I don't know. I mean, we have, but yeah, I don't think for us.
There'll be not other stories, I guess.
I've got a daughter. She's 21 tomorrow, and I know that I'm being involved with the triathlon club as well, and I've attended a few sort of women's sports conferences and women in sport, and for her the body shaming, the fat shaming, all that stuff that women are bombarded with constantly. I don't think we had that so much, did we? Well, we was media, and forces, as in the police, you do come across sexism, misogyny. It's all there. It'll always be there, and the personality thing, how you deal with it. But going back these days, the dropout rate is, I think it's over 40% from the age of 15 in females, and in sport or in any activity. And I know obviously swimming is the last thing they want to do, being in their togs, people look at them, and I know from my daughter's experience, she constantly feels judged and looked at, and she's, I don't want to be fat shamed if I'm just going for a swim. So from my experience, that was another element really. It's my experience in the Navy, this is what I've it's coming from me.
And there would be I mean, I understand about the body shaming thing, because as an older woman, I feel that, because I kind of feel like, no, I'm not going to strip, well, I don't mean strip right down, of course, in front of we'll be in togs. I feel reluctant to be in togs in front of a mixed place. And I mean, I remember as a younger woman, sometimes you'd see older women at the beach or in the swimming pool or whatever. And I myself sort of judged them quite harshly, because they didn't have flash bodies anymore, and that so it's always been there. But I agree that now it's like on steroids, isn't it? With social media, if you don't have an Instagram body or whatever, it's really difficult to go into mixed sex spaces and that you're going to be judged and looked at, because let's face it, when we're always looking at each other. That's what humans do. We always look at each other. We're always looking at our environment and seeing who's in it. So you don't go into a space and just keep your head down. You're looking around, and if you're very self-conscious, then you're going to feel that a lot of that looking is judging, and it might be, it might not be, but that's how you feel.
And that's one thing I to get over, isn't it, to our women, is to say, look, we don't care what you look like. We really don't. You know, what we care about is that you come and then you have a great experience, enjoy your, relax, meet some new people, you know, and you know, there are all shapes and sizes and ages that do come and have come, you know, and it's so good to see. And we do have a couple of sort of stories, don't we? One lady was training for the triathlon last year, and she hadn't ever swum without a rash vest on, you know, because she was too.
What vest? A raft vest?
Rash vest, so a long sleeved swimming vest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit every so often. It must be just something to do with reception or whatever on your phone. But yeah, but carry on.
So yeah, she hadn't swam. So it took her a couple of weeks, and then, you know, then she took her rash vest off and just swam in a tog. So it took her, you know, a few weeks to build up her confidence a bit, and then realise that people weren't looking at her. The other women just, you know, didn't bother.
Yeah.
Then what we talked about a month ago now, we had a woman come who was, and it's the first time I've really come across it. She was so nervous. She was sat on the side, wasn't she? She sort of visibly sort of, you know, shaking, and I believe she's even had to have some form of therapy to even get to this level, you know. And now she comes in a togs, and we've got a swimming 2 lengths, haven't we? Bilateral breathing now, so she's so confident. You know,
so there's some real success, and that kind of confidence, you know, that kind of thing, it starts spilling over into the other parts of your life, doesn't it? It doesn't just stay in the pool or in that area. I mean, that's where you maybe start to gain it, but it starts spilling over. You start taking that away with you as well. And that's really good for not just the individual, but it's good for the communities that they live in, you know, because, you know, when people engage in their community, even in a very small way, it's actually really good. You know, it's good for the community. It's good for the economy. People out and about, you know, spend money. But Carmel, I'm thinking about the trauma that you would have seen a woman undergo as well. You know, like when you were a police officer, and how that would make them shut down, I expect, and especially if they don't have anywhere to go, you know, that they feel safe in.
Yeah.
They feel like it's a bit like a sanctuary that, you know, that no man will come into. You know, whether he says he's a woman or not, no man will come into. They need that sanctuary, and that kind of thing would help them to heal, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah. I suppose my background in the police with women was a lot of family violence, often having to remove the female and take her to somewhere safe, like the Women's Refuge, which is a wonderful organisation in New Zealand. So, yes, I suppose we could say we're providing a safe space for women to do the things that would make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they can take that away into their lives. And I mean, it's not just community. I mean, family benefits from it as well. That because I should imagine that women who perhaps are a bit traumatized, they won't do much with their kids even. You know, they stay sort of a bit closed off and fearful of going out into the world. You know, not totally, but I think I get the feeling that what you're doing, providing that space where they can come here and see women of all sizes, all shapes, all ages, whatever, helps them then to expand their world outside of that.
We have had some mothers, one in particular, whose children have been learning to swim at a swim school, and she felt like she couldn't go with them for a recreational swim because she didn't swim herself. And so she's been trying to teach, well, through us, learning to swim. And so also providing somewhere the family can then do activities together. So that's another.
Skills.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, you know, it's one of those things that people think on the surface it doesn't sound like much, but once you start sort of drilling down into it, there's a lot that goes on and a lot that benefits the women who come along there, and by extension, then starts benefiting the people they associate with and their families and communities. Yeah. What was the other? Sorry.
We do see ourselves as a bit of a launch pad, don't we, really? The fact that we've had so many women come through, they've done what they want to do, and then they've moved on maybe to just swimming in, communal areas, because now they have that confidence, as well.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. And I expect, like the Christchurch City Council, the Napier City Council themselves would not run a woman-only session that didn't include men who say they're women. I would expect that you haven't. So this is not an approach that you made, is it? To them, you just approach them to do it yourselves.
Yeah. That issue hasn't really risen its head, has it, with us today? So that's not something that we've had to deal with as yet. So no.
I mean, that's great. I mean, long may it last, because, as I said here, in Christchurch, the Christchurch City Council is adamant that, if they're running a woman, such a I say bizarre, because they've basically altered the meaning of the word woman to mean anyone who says they are, but most women don't know that. So they run these woman-only sessions, and it's and they don't know that at any moment a man could come in, because that's the nature of things now. You may not be aware that the Law Commission has recently done a review on whether or not to put the word gender into the Human Rights Act, and we're hoping it's a terrible review. It's just dreadful. It seems like it's been written by activists as opposed to lawyers who are balanced and circumspect and look at things from a broad perspective. So we're hoping that this government doesn't adopt that idea of putting gender into the Human Rights Act, because if it does, it's possible that even people like you, women like you, running your own thing, doing your own thing, won't be allowed to say that men can't come in. So it's quite disturbing to think that could happen, because listening to you talk, there's just so much benefit there for those women who are a bit apprehensive to start with, come along, and you seeing them sort of develop and grow and confidence, and as you say, they move on into the mixed sex pools. So there's not much that you can sort of say about that. I realise it's all in the air at the moment.
I guess it's just something when or if it happens, then we have to deal with. Yeah, something else I suppose you have to deal with as females, that we
And how do you find that? Do you actually teaching swimming there? Actually teaching them to swim, or they just go and do their own thing? You're teaching them
everything, yeah. So we don't get in the water normally, but just from poolside we do, because it's only a metre 108, so it's quite shallow, but shallow enough to swim in and water walk and that. So we have quite a lot of water walkers. We have women that are learning to swim, so we can we help them with that. And then we have women. We're starting to have a lot of younger mothers, aren't we? So I'd say late 20s, early 30s. Again, they want to get back into it. So we've had a real sort of increase, haven't we, in women, in those women. We've got some triathletes that are just coming for their winter training, and some pointers with their technique as well. And then we've also got some women that are coming in their sort of 60s that haven't been in the pool for years, and want to get fit again. We've got a few that are rehabbing pre and post surgery, actually, haven't we? Getting their strength up pre-surgery, and then those that have had their ops and are coming back to get fit again, because swimming or any water activity is so good for that.
Okay. Yeah.
plethora of different, different reasons why people come.
Yeah. Do you have so these women often talk to you about their reasons, or they
Yeah,
just they to you and they
ask them why they've come, because we have to, when we provide funding, we have to give like the our community feedback. So
right.
chat and ask them why they're there, and a lot of it is just to, we have all sorts of reasons, really, haven't we? Just to get out the house or get away, the kids, the husband,
Yeah.
rehab, technique. Some people can do one stroke and not another, so they would love to either learn backstroke or a breaststroke, or something different.
Yeah. So you're talking about the funding. Is that from the council?
Actually, yeah. Initially, we didn't need it. They did actually pay for it for us for the first year, which is fantastic. And then I've just got funding, and it is from the council communities grant, and I got money, and that keeps us going for another year.
Right. And what did it, when you say they paid for it for the first year, what did they pay? Is that the pool hire or something?
Because we're a private, an autonomous group, and we're both we have to hire the facility. So, but they covered that for the first year, which was really generous. And the next year, this year that we're in now, I've just got some funding that will take us on. Well, actually, they covered us for more than a year, didn't they? Yes. So, yeah, just over a year. So, a year from this term, we've got it now for another 12 months.
Right. So you actually have to sort of produce something to say how well it's going, and that sort of, and that means that you need this, you need women's stories and that anonymously. Okay. Yeah. And have you had feedback from the council at all about it?
Not yet, not such. No, we just got so.
But the funding would indicate that they're seeing the benefits as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Demonstrable benefits. So they're willing to fund it for a while. Yeah. So that's really interesting, actually. That that the benefits are so clear cut, and yet, as I say, and Christchurch won't be the only council. There'll be other councils around who are doing maybe women-only sessions themselves, who won't sort of acknowledge that it's needs to be really women only. So to get the benefits, of course, a lot of the women who go along to these sessions in Christchurch, they wouldn't know that men can come in if they want to, and they may go along. They may never encounter one, but the moment they do, it'll shatter everything for them, for a lot of them. So that's quite a concern, actually. But in the meantime, obviously, you guys are going. You women, not guys, you women are going really well with what you're doing. It sounds really awesome, actually.
Yeah, burner, isn't it? But it's really picking up now, and people are hearing. We got invited for an interview with our local Breeze radio station, which was really good, wasn't it? Yeah. So, and people like yourselves and what have you starting to hear about it. It takes time,
yeah. And it does. I mean, as you say, I mean, it's hard to sort of get the word out sometimes, without an advertising budget quite often. But the more that people do hear about it, and people, they'll speak outside of the pool too. They'll speak to their friends, I've been going along to this. And I would say, like for myself, I started doing some gym work just a little while ago. And although there's no observable changes yet, I can start feeling some changes, and that's an interesting thing. And where was I going with this? Yes, and those changes then start sort of changing how you behave a little bit, and how you interact with people. I suppose there's a little bit of confidence building going on, isn't there? That when this starts happening, it's hard to articulate as I said at first, it's hard to articulate when there's no, you're not presenting this ripped body or anything like that to show us the benefits of what you're doing. But the benefits are there, and I think that people will talk about them to their friends and family, and that will encourage others to come along too. And if they have a safe space, other women, yeah.
And that's what we wanted to provide. And there's a lot of people that come, it's through word of mouth as well, isn't it, really? We've got to brought their friends or their mums or sisters or their daughters along, you know. So
colleagues.
Yeah. And you say about confidence, because we've also been asked about sea swimming. Obviously, you can't have a female-only like session down at the beach, but there are quite a lot of women that are quite keen to, once they've got the confidence in the pool. So we are going to perhaps do that during the summer as well on a Friday, meet, you know, down at the stuff. So that's another indication that they're getting their confidence, not only, you know, with their ability in swimming, but being able to do it in front of other people as well. So another sort of, you know, knock on, you know, benefit, and sort of another that we can start.
I mean, that's right. They've been, as you say, they're knock-on benefits, and when you first start something, you're not always going to know what they are, but they are always there, and that is what I think is being disregarded a lot of the time. But anyway, you're doing it sounds really good. It sounds great, you know. Almost wish I was in Napier. Maybe. I would. I haven't owned a pair of dogs for a long time, but maybe I would if I knew there was somewhere, you know, like what you're doing to go, as opposed to what the council here is doing. I might do. Yeah. Anyway, anything else you want to sort of talk about? Because I mean, you know, I mean, you both got backgrounds that obviously are quite rich with experience. You know, and I mean, to be honest, I've been quite intrigued. I'm quite intrigued with your backgrounds, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. But I don't know. Is there anything that you can bring from them and just sort of talk about generally that has brought you to where you are today, or anything?
Like you say, our backgrounds, you know, like, I don't think you ever appreciate the time what you're doing or what you're going through. Well, it just enriches you and develops you as a person. And I think now, as you get older, you do care less as well about what other people think of you. And what we swim together, don't we? We trot around in our togs, and it's like, well, yeah, we've been doing it for years. But I mean, there's an element, you know, you still want to hold your tummy in or whatever, you know. That'll always be with you. But I think the beauty of getting older is you care less about what other people think, don't you? You know, but we've got that, and we can hopefully put that across to others, you know, really matter. We don't care, and that's the message we want to get across, isn't it, really?
And I'd also like to think that because of what we have done in the past, leading to where we are now, that we can encourage people to do just something to further their experience with swimming and being exposed to being in the water, doing different things in that way. I would like to think that we've helped encourage people to do that. Because step outside their comfort zone.
And it's a great sport, isn't it? You know, it's a brilliant sport. I mean, we've met through swimming, and all the experiences Carmel's had and I've had. Obviously, come at a bit of a higher level than me, but you know, it's swimming teaching. I mean, I've met all my friends really through it. You know, it's a great social sport as well. People don't think it is, but you know, we stop and talk a lot, don't we, at the end of the pool?
And there's coffee afterwards always.
Coffee,
And I think that that tends to be forgotten as actually is a lot of the times the social aspect as well, which, you know, you're getting sort of like a sort of a myriad of benefits from it. It's not just, you know, you go along, splash around, go home. You know, you get quite a lot of benefits, and so you really want to encourage women to come along. As you say, you know, it's great to go along when you think to a place where it doesn't matter what you look like.
No, that's you know, we doesn't sound rude, but we really care, do we? We do.
No makeup required.
No, we don't. I mean, the pool normally has rules about what you can and can't wear. But with this, they've said, you know, the ladies can wear whatever they want. You know, they can come in long shorts and long, you know, just to get them, you know, in. And that's also a really good thing that they've said, that they really don't care what people wear either to start with, because you just need to get them in, through the door, and then themselves, that nobody really cares. They just get in, and but it's really lovely, because the two women that are sort of the learn to swim level, they didn't know each other, did they? No, but they're chatting away and becoming friends. You can see that friendship developing. It's
right.
Really, that wouldn't normally happen.
No, it probably wouldn't. I'm casting my mind around and thinking, if you were in like a mixed sex space, you would probably feel more reserved. I think you would sort of contain yourself within yourself a lot more than if you're going into a session like you two run.
Yeah. I think as well, would probably put themselves at a lower level in the lanes as well, wouldn't they? Because they see guys and they assume that they're, they're better and stronger and faster or whatever, where they're not necessarily. But sort of maybe keep their distance and put themselves, in a busier lane with, less ability. But they shouldn't need to, but they do that as well.
Well, it's true. I mean, like I'm not dissing men or anything like that, but we know, like when they come into a situation, it changes the dynamics, and that's just the nature of it.
Well, we've been raced up and down the pool, haven't we? Yeah. We always, because we're reasonable swimmers, and we often get guys jumping in when we go, and they just sort of, sometimes they race you, for no reason.
And do they lose? Yeah, I think men tend to be generally more physically confident than women, whether or not they're actually more competent or not.
Can be more competitive, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, this just sounds such a great session, and look, I really hope that people who are listening to this may decide that it's worth starting in their own location or whatever. But as you said, I think most of the time it has to be the councils. If you go through the council, it's likely that they will say that men who say they're women have to be involved. But if you do it privately, like yourselves have done,
or you can get a private swimming pool, where really find a private.
Yeah. So all in all, the time and effort you've had to put in, you find it's been fruitful and rewarding.
Absolutely, I love doing it. We really do. Yeah. We've got drag it in and out in our suitcases every week, but we're volunteers, but we just I absolutely love it. We see new every week, and it's great. It's really, really good, and they all leave with smiles, don't they? They all say thank you, come back, see you next week. So
fantastic. Hey, look, well, thanks very much for talking to me about this. It's been awesome. I'll put your details in the notes below the session, so that people can contact you or come along, whatever. Anything else, anything else I need to know, you can, if there's anything else besides that you'd like me to put in there, you can just flick me a message or something and I'll do that. Yeah.
Facebook as well. So if you just put in Wahine Water Warriors, we'll come up.
And on a website? Facebook page. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And that's, not everybody's on Facebook. Some people choose not to be. So if you...
Napier Aquatic Centre, and they'll get all the information there as well.
Napier Aquatic Centre, right. I'll put that in as well then. Yeah. All right, fantastic talking, and all the best.
Thanks, Katrina. Take care.
Lovely.
Bye. Bye.